So, welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the City of Delray Oaks City Council. Today is Tuesday, February 22, 2022, and it is 6 o'clock. Could you please do a roll call, Karen?
Councilmember Shirley.
Here.
Councilmember Donaldson.
Here.
Councilmember Lintel. You're muted, Pat.
Here.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Gagliotti.
Here.
Mayor Kerr.
Here. All right, so we're all here. Bill Ragsdale Corona, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Certainly. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
All
you.
right. It doesn't look like Reverend Helm is here, so what we're going to do is move on to public comment, and if he comes a little late, we'll invocate at that point. So public comments. Any general public must deal with matters subject to the jurisdiction of the city and the council that are not on the agenda this evening. Anyone wishing to address the city council on matters not appearing on the agenda may do so now. You may comment on any other matter listed on the agenda at the time the matter is being presented. There will be a time limit of no more than 3 minutes for each speaker. No action will be taken on matters brought up under this item, and all comments will be referred to staff. Any public comments on anything not on the agenda this evening? Raise your hand now. Karen, do you see any?
I don't.
Okay.
No.
I see Susan just got on. Susan, it's public comment time. Any public comment on any item not on the agenda? Okay, we're going to close public comment and move on to the consent agenda. I know that we need to pull item B4, the police activity report, and C1, the updated strategic planning grid. And before I ask anyone else, I want to say thank you to, I think it's Karen and or Randy, for the video links on the minutes. I love
That's
it.
Randy.
Okay, thank you, Randy. So on that, any other council member wanting to pull any consent agenda item? I'm just looking at everybody's faces. Scott? Okay. Any public want to pull any item on the consent agenda? I'm looking for your hands and or faces, and I'm seeing none. So what I want to do is, I think let's start with Alex and then move on to you, John. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, Alex.
So thank you and good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council and public. The question was presented, how do sort of recusals work for conflicts of interest on the consent agenda? Unlike a non-consent item, there's no duty to leave the room generally. And I guess the Zoom equivalent is there's no need to sort of dim the screen and mute. However, just like a non-consent item, if there is a conflict of interest, that needs to be announced at the outset of the item. And in consent, generally that works with a council member saying something along the lines of, you know, I've got XYZ conflict of interest and I'll be voting, but my vote will you know, I'm abstaining from voting on, or I'm disqualified from voting on such and such matter. As long as the record identifies those items, then we're okay.
Ms. Shirley.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. So I will be voting on all of the consent agenda items except for C3. Just please note that I will recuse myself from that vote. Thank you.
Any other people want to pull out of C3? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Gurton, it's all yours.
All right, I think we'll take them in order, so we'll go ahead and let Chris go over the changes to the police report so that he can go back to doing his important job of keeping us safe.
Thank you for having me here today. So forever, we've been putting a police report or police activity report in the agenda for council. There's some stuff on there that's that you can only get one way, which is from CAD through our calls for service. Some of the other stuff on here, I would regularly call our records management system and enter the numbers. Since we started doing cybers, which I gave a short talk on, I guess last year, maybe even early last year, California, in my opinion, is known for its really non-user-friendly websites, and they really, when it comes to cybers, have done a great job. It's worked great for us, and it also has reports built into it. So on the back of your normal, or on the second page of your normal activity report, there's something I printed off of the NIBRS site, which basically I told you that we're going from tracking, let's say, 8 crimes to 52. So this is just provides the council with more information in terms of what kind of reports we're taking. And it's easy for me to do. As soon as we get enough stuff in NIBRS, we can even, as you can see from the printout, kind of check last year's stats against this year's stats, that kind of thing. So I think it's easy to do, it provides you guys with more information, and you know, we're all about being transparent and all, and I think it's a win-win for everybody. It may be too much for some people. It's fairly easy to read, fairly straightforward. If you guys have any questions on the different areas in which are listed here in terms of what qualifies as something that would be in a column, just let me know and I can help you out with that.
Chris, thank you so much. This is, I am one of those that have literally done year by year, and it takes me far longer, and now it won't. So thank you very much. Miss Shirley.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Chris. I just had a quick question. So I was wondering if you could explain the columns. So like, for instance, under larceny, theft offenses, it looks like we have
Can you hear
7
me?
reported.
Hello?
You have 7 reported and then 3 offenses cleared. What does
Right.
the cleared mean?
Cleared means
What does that mean?
we have located a suspect and he has been arrested. So arrested could mean a citation in the field. Arrest could mean that we actually physically took him into custody. And there's not a lot of taken into custody these days. As we all know that with the COVID going on in county jail, it's a bad deal. So a lot of our cases we submit to the DA's office, and those numbers will change over time automatically through our RMS software to update this report. So just because this looks like January today, this may not look like January in May. We could have not more crimes in January, but we could have more solves in January. So it just means that in order to solve a crime or let's say, go from 3 cases cleared to 4, if you don't arrest them, then you're waiting for the DA's office to file charges, and then you're waiting for them to either show up in court and be arraigned, or you're waiting for them to be arrested on a warrant. So it could be a year, 2 years down the road. You just never know when it's gonna happen. But that's what that column's for.
I see. Great. And then the projected rate, can you describe what that means?
I can't. I don't know whether
Okay.
it's 7,000. I can work on that. I saw that myself, and I don't know. It's obviously they're not projecting 7,000 thefts in Del Rio, so it's not going to happen.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but it's per 100,000. I don't know. How about if I work on that,
Okay.
I'll come back with an answer and, rather than trying to figure it out on the fly.
Sure. No worries. That'd be great. So when we get this, it'll be, so it's year to date. So it's not by month, but it's year to date then when we see this.
So next month, I'm going to give you February, and then I'll give you combined January, February. That's my goal. And then I'll give you March, combined January, February, March. So we kind of
Got
got
it.
the month at hand and then the total for the year.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other council member comment, question?
I would,
Ms. Lintel?
I would just like to thank Chris for getting the additional information for us. You do a good job always, and thanks so much.
I'm happy to do that for you.
All right. Any public comment on the police activity report and the shift to a new structure? Okay, not seeing any. Let's move on to item C1. Mr. Gerton.
All right, so there were a few items that we came up with back in September that were scheduled to be on this month's agenda, and thinking about how we strategize some of our bigger issues going forward, and how we make decisions and decide to allocate resources and funding, and talking with some of our consultants, with Denise Duffy. I'm sorry, that's my dog. Decided that it was probably better to hold off on some of those things. So the biggest ones specifically were the discussion about general plan funding, and talking about funding before we actually talk about what we need to do for the general plan and what we hope to accomplish with amending our general plan and going forward seemed a little premature. Talking about community facility district financing, options like that, development impacts. It's all a little bit putting the cart before the horse. So instead, I want to circle the wagons with staff and put together a cohesive plan to bring to you all probably in April. We were shooting for March, but we have the housing element update in March. So, and I want to have time to bring this to the Planning Commission as well. So I want to get together with you all in April and talk about, what is a general plan? What does our general plan look like? What works, what doesn't work with our current reality? And then start to build a plan on what are the options for updating our general plan? And do we want to do a full update, or do we want to just look at specific elements of the plan and do more like a general plan amendment? And then when I get some policy direction from you all on where you'd like to go with that, then we'll bring it back with some more information on what that looks like in terms of costs and timelines, and how are we going to accomplish that? And then, what other options are we not going to do, because, we do have limited funding and limited resources. So I just want to create more of a holistic conversation going forward rather than piecemealing it like this. So you'll see on the grid that those have been kind of put off indefinitely for right now, and circle back in a more holistic way. So I didn't want people to, the one sentence comment, I didn't know if that did it justice for folks who aren't in the know. So I just wanted to let you all know that we're not ignoring the strategic plan. We're actually trying to be a little bit more strategic about it and planning.
Thank you, John. Any council comments, questions? Okay, seeing none. Any public comments on the updated strategic planning grid from the public? I am seeing no hands. I'm going to bring it back. So I will entertain a motion. Alex, are we good if we do just a straight a vote, knowing that Ms. Shirley has recused herself from that one item?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I second. Karen, can you do a roll call, please?
Whoops, sorry. Councilmember Shirley,
Aye.
Councilmember Donaldson.
Aye.
Councilmember Lintel,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gagliotti,
Aye.
Mayor Kerr.
Aye. So the consent agenda passes unanimously with those caveats. We have no old business this evening, and we have one item of new business, which is consider a report on ARPA funds distribution. I'll turn it over to Mr. Girton.
Okay, see if I can share my screen here real quick. All right, can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is something we've been talking about now for a couple of months. 3 of you heard this last or 2 Fridays ago at the Finance Committee meeting. So I'll go through this fairly quickly. But for those who might not know, the city is due to receive close to $400,000 in American Recovery funding for the pandemic. We already have $197,836 in the bank. And so we're looking at, these are some of the items that I brought to you back in December to talk about, and doing some updating of some of our systems. One of the things that you just saw was the police report. That's a new software system. So we're trying to bring our city up into the 21st century and modernize some of our operations, automate where we can. And the ARPA funds, I think, are a great opportunity to do that. Also to deal with some long overdue maintenance issues. But for this one, we just want to start tackling some of the low hanging fruit. So right now we're looking at these bottom groups here. And my wife's dog is also very excited about this. So we're just gonna tackle the things that we can handle right now and that we can get easily. Sorry, I'm gonna close the door. He's the town greeter. This is why I don't usually do these meetings from home. So the first one is agenda management software. We've been talking with Granicus. They're the standard for agenda management software. Everyone here in the region uses them. It'll help us modernize our agendas, and more importantly, help the public to find reports, to find sections in meetings after the fact. They can go through the agenda, select the item that they're interested in. It'll take them right to that part of the video. So there's no more scrolling through hours of videos looking for a specific presentation. So the upfront implementation costs will be about $5,500. And then the ongoing costs are about $7,500. So for this year, the initial cost will be $13,000, which I think more than pays for itself in the long run. Same thing with record management software. It's to help us deal with digitizing our record management so that we can store things in the cloud. We have better access to things. We know what records we have at the click of a button, and we can respond to public records requests in a more timely manner and with less staff time. It'll really free up a lot of staff time because we can address those types of things quickly and easily, and just do a better job of managing our critical records. So the total cost is similar type of thing with an initial upfront cost and then ongoing costs. And so it'll be an upfront cost of the $9,000. And then we talked about the future and what these kinds of meetings are going to be going forward as we come out of the pandemic. I think that, it's been overused, but I'm going to use it because I like it. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. And I think that some sort of online engagement and online meeting is with us to stay. I think we've all figured it out. Most people have become comfortable with it. And we've seen, I think, a fairly sizable uptick in community participation. So I think that's something we'd all like to see continue. So what does that look like for us? Hybrid meetings are a little difficult. We don't have the current technology to effectively do hybrid meetings. Hybrid meaning some people in the chamber, some people joining from home. And so we needed to upgrade our chamber technology anyway, because if anybody goes back and looks at some of the old recordings, it's not always easy to hear people and follow along with the discussions. And so we needed to do something anyway. Fortunately, Yavuz, our IT consultant, has already done some of this hybrid technology upgrading for other agencies in the region. And so he's got 2 years of experience now of what works, what doesn't work, what are the best tools. So he's given us some guidance on what to get. He's going to help us set it up and show us how to make it work. So this is kind of a ballpark. It's probably a little high. I don't think we're really going to get to that 10,000, but it'll help us get a monitor. We'll get a monitor for the chamber so that folks who are in the chamber can see what's going on in Zoom. There's a camera that's actually pretty cool. It's called the Owl, and it tracks speakers. And so anybody who's speaking, the camera will automatically move and put them on camera. And so that way people on Zoom can see who's speaking. And then we're gonna upgrade the sound system so that it sounds better. And we've heard some concerns about when we have overflow, assuming we get to a point out of the pandemic where we can actually have so many people in our chamber again that we have overflow, and that we have issues that people are that passionate about that they show up when we have overflow. We've heard concerns already from folks about the sound system outside and not being able to tell what's going on in the chamber. So we're looking at getting a TV monitor that would be outside, that would improve the sound, and people could still watch the proceedings going on inside of the chamber and not feel like they're missing anything. And then during the week or during the month when we're not in meetings, that could have the city calendar on it. So when folks come into the lobby and are doing business there, they can get updates on things that are happening in the city, and that'll just flip over like you see in other places. And then the bottom one, we're still going to have to work on things on, are there facility modifications, air purification, things like that to help make a safe environment when we do come back. But right now we're just talking about the top three. So those are our initial recommendations, easy stuff, low hanging fruit. And then we'll come back in the next few months with some bigger projects and bigger ideas for you all to consider. We're looking at, some park upgrades, things like that. Cause I think park projects really fall in line with what the intent of the ARPA funding was for. So anyway, we'll come back with that. So with that, I'm available for questions.
Great. One point of clarity before we go to questions. You said that you're going to put a monitor outside. I think you meant outside in the lobby, not outside. Yes. Okay. Yes. I just wanted to make sure. I have heard this and I thought I knew that, but I just wanted clarification. So let's go to the council. Vice Mayor Gagliardi.
I have no questions. I think these are excellent uses of these early, these low hanging fruit items. So, or excellent use of the dollars for the low hanging fruit items. So, yeah, go forth.
Ms. Lintel.
Yes, I totally approve of JG's John, or the city manager John. What he's come up with for expending the funds that we have received. And I totally approve. Thank you.
Mr. Donaldson.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I'll just reiterate what I said during the finance committee meeting, that I think it's the right focus for the funds, especially it increases the effectiveness and efficiency of the staff, and the technology upgrades for the council chambers. Absolutely. And I'll say again, I think we need to move out quickly so that we can start getting in-person meetings, or that hybrid model that the city manager talked about. I think that's very important, and I'm a big advocate of that. Thank you.
Ms. Shirley.
Yeah, thanks, John, for coming up with these items for our ARPA funds. I think it is completely reasonable. And again, it increases our transparency for the public, these additions. And it also is, going to save our city staff tons of time. So I appreciate that. I'm sure they do as well. So thank you very much.
And I want to echo what everybody else said. I'm looking forward to the changes and the upgrades. I will ask the one question I asked before. Talk a little bit about the time of implementation and when we might, outside of City Hall, be able to see these changes.
Yeah, so Karen, you want to talk about Granicus?
I can talk about Granicus. Yeah, I'm starting with them, assuming you're going to approve this tonight. And so the faster the better. I mean, we just need to coordinate with our IT person, Yavuz, and probably a couple of months is what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. That kind of sets a parameter. So,
Right.
Great. Anything else, John Gurton, before we go out to the public?
Yeah, just also same thing with the record management. We've already started some of that work, after we got the record retention policy and the funding for the temp. So Lee Fitz has been helping us with, she's scanned thousands and thousands of documents already, right, Karen?
Yeah.
And she's up to, we got her better equipment, and she went from scanning a couple hundred documents a day to, I think she's up to like 1,500 a day now, isn't she?
It might even be more than that, depending on how long she's there. She's a little dynamo.
Yep. So it's been great. So once we get the software system, we're already well on our way to digitizing our records.
This is exciting. This has been going on. We've been talking about this for quite a while. So it's exciting to have all of our files going to be in one place and searchable and findable even. So let's go out to the public. Any public want to chime in on the potential ARPA fund distribution, a portion of it? I'm not seeing any hands in the chat, and I'm not seeing any faces. Oops, Mr. Krieger.
Yeah, oh no, like the camera covered up. Hang on. Yeah, you don't.
That's okay. It's
there we go. Computer's off. All right. Yeah. This takes about 30 seconds, 10 seconds. Thanks. I guess everything the council said, I want you to know for people on the other side, things from us as well. I think once people get used to it and they use it a few times, all this is going to be really appreciated. So I know the council appreciates it from their perspective, but I just want to just echo that we appreciate it from the other side as well. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Gary. Bill Ragsdale Cronin.
Yeah, pretty much what everybody else has been saying. I'm glad we're moving towards the 21st century. That's a nice thing. And, looking towards hybrid meetings, I think that will help alleviate some of the concern about being on Zoom all the time. I'm an advocate of either way. I can Zoom or I can come in person. I think Zoom, like John had mentioned, has certainly increased the public's participation in Delray Oaks City business. And I think that's a good thing. And I'd hate to see that go away if we go strictly back to in-person meetings. I think the hybrid model is probably the way to go. So that's about it. Just wanted to compliment and say thanks for all the hard work.
Thank you, Bill. Any other public comment? Okay, let's bring it back to the council. Any last comments before we discuss a vote? I'm seeing none, so I will entertain a motion.
Move approval for the distribution of the ARPA funds as directed by staff.
I'll second. So Karen, can you please do a roll call?
Councilmember Shirley,
Aye.
Councilmember Donaldson,
Aye.
Councilmember Lintel,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gagliotti,
Aye.
Mayor Kerr.
Aye, so it passes unanimously. Moving on to staff reports. Before we, John, will you talk a little bit about Randy?
Yeah, I was gonna do that as part of my city manager report. Yep, so,
Perfect. So
City
city
manager.
manager report.
all right, great. So I'll work down to Randy. I'm gonna hold him for last. So I just want to let you all know, first of all, you all know that the staff all do, they do a lot. There is no, in the admin office, there's no single job description for anybody. Everybody does 4 or 5 different things. If they're lucky, they only do 4 or 5 different things. So the great thing is that we're being really proactive on getting training for folks and sending people for training. And so I just want to let you all know that as of last Thursday, right, Karen? I think it was last Thursday. Ron Fucci
Yes,
is
Thursday.
now a certified stormwater inspector. So he went through the training for that, took the test, passed. That's really good for us. That was something that we were contracting out to the city of Seaside, and now we have that ability in-house. I would like to say that we have the ability to now shop him out and contract with others, but he already has 4 jobs, so we're not going to do that to him. But so the next thing he's doing here, actually in conjunction with that, is he's also training to be an arborist and get a certification as an arborist. He's already taken several classes and taken some tests, and so he's well into that process as well. So we're getting a huge bang for our buck with that guy. So let's keep him. I want to remind everyone that there's a new bill called SB 1383. Requires us all to start collecting our food waste and bio waste and putting that in your yard waste bin for composting. We have free, actually fairly nice plastic food scrap containers that you can have in your kitchen, so you don't have to take your meal out to your garbage can every night. You put that into your food scrap bin for a day, day and a half, 2 days, and then you take it out every other day and dump it into the larger bin. I have one here. They work really well. I know some folks want to get fancier ones, but these are pretty nice, and they're designed really well, and they're free. And we still have, I don't know, what would you say, Karen, about 20, 25 left?
Yeah.
At City Hall. So
Yep.
First come, first serve. So let everybody know and have people come down and get them. We had a huge rush the first couple of weeks of people coming, and then I think people have forgotten about it. So let's get those out there. Yeah, so then going forward, you heard today, you've been hearing for a couple months. There's a lot going on at City Hall. There's a lot of changes going on at City Hall. We have a lot of new initiatives that we're going to be rolling out over the next several months. So we just want everybody in the community to be aware of that and to have some patience with us as we're going forward, because we may have some hiccups with some of these new things. Like we talked about, we've been doing the record cleanup. So there's files all over the place, and we've cleaned up the IT closet now, which is now just an IT server closet, the way it was intended to be. Getting the agenda and document management software. We have the new scheduling software, which is still being worked on. Oh, I forgot to mention, Karen is also going through training to become a certified city clerk. And that will be in June, right? I'm looking
That's
at you.
part of it. Yeah, it takes a while.
Right, yeah,
That is
it'll
part
be a
of it.
while, but yeah, so
I'm working on it.
She's going through that, which is going to take a lot of her time as she's going through those classes. And then, as the mayor mentioned, hey, Randy, you want to get on camera?
Yes, I had to call him and tell him that.
He doesn't want to be on camera. There he is. So Randy.
Oh, and there's Lee.
Yeah, you guys are both floating in and out of the,
You too.
the picture. All right. So everybody knows, when Randy came in and all of the stuff that Randy's done, he's done an incredible job updating our website, updating the acorn and getting the acorn out, helping us with cleaning out our files. We're going to start doing a monthly newsletter from the city manager to update the community. He was instrumental in helping me with that. There's just a ton of stuff that Randy's helped us with. And unfortunately, his boss at home told him she's taking him to Florida. So last week he gave us his 2-week notice. So this is going to be his last week in the office. The good thing, we have Lee, who's bouncing in and out of the picture there.
Here she is.
She's been helping us for, I don't know what, about 4 or 5 months now, Karen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's been in the office on a temp position, just like Randy was back when Kim was still here.
Yep.
So she's been helping us out. She's fit in really great with the team. She's got really great customer service attitude, and I think she's going to fit in really well in the community. And so right now, Randy's showing her some of what he does, because it's too much to show in 2 weeks. But so anyway, so right now, Lee's going to be still doing some of the record stuff. We'll maybe get another temp to backfill that, and then she'll be filling in for Randy's position right now. So I don't anticipate any snags or snafus in terms of operations, but we are going to miss Randy. Our birds are really going to miss Randy. Randy is the resident turkey whisperer. If you guys haven't noticed, every morning when he comes in and then he goes out and he goes down to the public works yard, and when the turkeys are around, there's usually a line of about 15 to 20 turkeys following him. They wait for him in the parking lot and follow him down to get peanuts from him. So he's the turkey whisperer. So the birds are definitely going to suffer. But anyway, it's been really great working with Randy. I wish he was going to be working here longer, but we all, wish him well in Florida and fully anticipate that he'll be back as soon as he's made it through the first summer.
Would you mind if I said a few words?
Karen, please.
Thank you. Randy, I just want to thank you very much for all your support and not laughing at me too much when I'm silly. And everything that you've done for us, the new logo, everything, all of the tech support, I would have been lost without you. So I wish you well. Yeah, hopefully you'll come back. But you guys have safe travels and be well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other, Ms. Lintel?
Yes, Randy, I just want to compliment you on the wonderful work you did. You just stepped right in and took over so many duties, and the Acorn, you did a magnificent job on that. And we're all going to miss you. You're always so friendly and nice when we come into the office at City Hall. But I wish you and your family lots of happiness and success in Florida.
Any other comments for Randy?
Yeah, I want to thank Randy too. Randy, you are a great compliment in City Hall. You matched really well with Karen. And so, yeah, I appreciated all the duties and the help with the website and getting us, noticed and just getting more information on our website. And so you did a lot of work with that, and I'm really grateful for it. So enjoy Florida. We're going to miss you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I would just like to echo everything that's been said. And Randy, I know I'll see you before you take off, but really thanks so much for everything you did. And, the big part of it is you came in at a very critical time, and just the amount of assistance you gave, it was just incredible. You're a quality person, and just thank you so much for everything that you've done.
Thank you.
So I just want to echo kind of everything. You did come in at a time of great change, and you stayed through even more change. And you came in, you hit the ground running. Your contributions made a big difference to the transparency for the city, for the communication for the city, And those are really important things when you're running a city. So I want to, just echo all the thanks for the contributions that you've made to our city that will stay even as you travel down the road. So Randy, thank you, and fair winds.
Thank you.
Okay, so now you want to stay, don't you? Now you can't leave us.
Are you crying yet, Randy?
Just a little bit, Pat.
Yeah. So, and I don't know what's going to happen on Friday, but I'm sure we're going to do something to recognize Randy, but also to embarrass him a little bit. So we'll let everybody know so you all can stop by if you have the time.
Great. All right. So back to the agenda, the council reports are in writing in the agenda, or excuse me, the council reports are in the agenda, as is the correspondence for MST and TAMC. But before I adjourn, I also want to welcome Lee. I met Lee this week, very impressed with the filing that she's done, and just, it's amazing. And so I'm looking forward to seeing her more out and about and getting to know the community and taking on additional tasks. So Lee, welcome and thank you. So on that, we are adjourned. Our next meeting date is Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022 at 6 o'clock. All right, everybody, have a good evening. Thank you.
Good
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.